Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. What y'all up to today? How y'all doing? All 35 of you, right on. Um, anyway, what
35. Wow.
is up, Mr. Trail Dust, John Brunell, uh, Speargrass, Jeff Killian, Rob Hoof, and all you other lurkers out there. What is going on? I said that before already. All right. I talked about rolling one during the show, and I'm already like, ooh, loopy. Anyway, with me today, as always, we've got well, I'm Yamez. I just in case you didn't know that. What's up, Mr. Steven? We've got Alexis from Transcendental Artist Studios and star of the old Alexis Unchained, Unhinged Offer Rocker. And then we've got Mr. Adam from Down Under, Asparagus Forge.
Don't you start.
Anyway, little bit of a make sure everybody's on and ready kind of morning. We were getting ready to start the show. Alexis is driving and, got the camera sitting down, behind the steering wheel and just got a nice shot up the nose and then the steering wheel. So it's like, all right, let's get you in the house and then we can go live. And spare people, a look at your nostrils. Yeah. What's up, Boar? But yes, so um it is Sunday. It is time for our show, and for any of you who cares, how was y'all's fortnight? Yes, I said it. I said it. I said it. Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Let me grab my funnel because I know this is coming.
You
My,
go ahead.
Funnily
my
enough.
fortnight actually wasn't that interesting. I, apart from causing a little bit of possibly potentially a controversial stir in my personal community, with a multi-layered question that has nothing to do with blacksmithing. I have picked up a couple commissions this fortnight in order to do in the coming months. I've got about two and a half months to complete them. And they're not hard commissions. They're just a matter of pulling my finger out and doing them. And also, as part of those commissions, I picked up a stall to do. So I've got to make a whole heap of stock for that stall to sell on the day. Because I've been invited to do a stall at an event. So yeah, so that is pretty much a long and short of it. For what's actually been happening. And the only other thing is, I've found myself, and this is pertinent coming up to what is, it's leaving summer for you guys, coming into winter. A lot of people get at seasonal depression. I have been taking medication the last couple of weeks for an infection that I've got. I've got a fungal infection in one of my hands, and one of the side effects of that. And this week I've been sleeping on average 10 to 14 hours a day this week, which is extremely odd for me. I'm lucky if I sleep 7 hours a day on average. And I can function quite comfortably on 4. And I had no motivation and all that type of thing. And I wondered, because of this medication, I was wondering what's going on, what's wrong with me. Initially I didn't link it to the medication. It was just I was feeling really, really tired. I wouldn't make it until halfway through the day before I needed a nap. Like even if I was doing something, I was falling asleep on my feet. And so it was like, wow, this is odd. Something's wrong here. And then I realized I've been taking medication daily for this fungal infection. So it was kind of, hang on, let me look up the side effects of that. And the two side effects, sure enough, were sleep, being drowsy and requiring more sleep, and symptoms of depression. Now, so like I said, I've been taking it for about 2 weeks now. And the reason why I didn't notice it on my first week was because I'm on night shift. So I've been taking this medication in the morning. So I'd take the medication, go to bed, sleep for the eight odd hours, which means by the time I woke up, I'd had plenty of sleep, and I was sleeping through the effects of this medication, the side effects of this medication for most of the day. So I didn't notice it until this week. So the reason why I said it's pertinent is because, particularly, coming up to winter, seasonal depression and everything like that type of people do get more infections and illnesses and need to take medication and stuff like that during the winter. It is common all around the world that people get sick during the winter. So just be aware of not only your own personal, be aware of your body and be aware of your mentality and stuff like that, and just double check that if you've changed anything from your usual, make sure you're okay. So I just wanted to put that forward. But yeah, apart from that, that's pretty much been my week. I'm just waiting. I'm still waiting for my truck to arrive, and just plodding along and doing little bits and pieces and working on my book. I've got a little bit of annoyance when I've lost a little bit of information in my book because my word processing my word processing program, kind of crashed. So I'm having to go back and do things, but I'm just shy of 300 pages, so I'm about a third of nearly halfway. So that's all my news. So next.
Yeah, so I had to cancel my Cloud State trip, so there's that.
Yeah.
I'm really sad about it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, oh sweet, I paid off my house. I'm gonna have all this extra money, and since July, I've been working like 2 days a week, every week. Don't get me wrong, I'm still getting like 30 hours a week or whatever, which pays the bills, but yeah. Anyways, so I
Nothing extra.
I would have wound up getting into Dayton on Tuesday with nobody else there and no way for me to rent a car. So I'd have had to catch an Uber all the way from the airport up to the fairgrounds, which would have been probably $100. And yeah, so I was just like, I can't. I'm not going to be able to afford food and all the other. I'm like, I'm screwed. And so I made the hard decision to cancel the trip because even though I'd already paid for the airfare and all that, it would, and my tickets into Quad State and everything, like I was like, there's no way I'm not going. I even got the tattoo on my arm that says 24, and I can't go. And so instead of doing that, I'm gonna roll the travel credit into going and spending Thanksgiving with my girlfriend and her family. So. Not really what I was going to do that anyways, but I would have just paid the $300 for the airfare. It wouldn't have been a big deal, but now I've got travel credit to cover that. But yeah, I'm kind of sad that I can't go, but it was also going to be a logistical nightmare, and I'm only comfortable with winging it a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to show up and wing it. Winging it was a lot easier back in the day, and now it's not as easy. I've got to think of every angle and every possibility, and like when I went to Austin. Here's a good example. I went to Austin last weekend, and it was just one of those things where I was like, hey, here's an author that you follow that's given a talk at the Moody Center at Austin City Limits. $54. And I was like, oh, I wonder what it would cost for airfare and hotel. And I was like, oh, looky there, 240. So basically, it was $240 all in for the ticket, round trip airfare, and the hotel. Flying in, I was flying in on Saturday and then flying back out on Sunday. And I had thought I had picked my flight for like 10:30 a.m. on Sunday, but no, it was 10:30 p.m. So I had all day Sunday to just figure it out because I can't stay at the hotel because you got to check out by 11, and so yeah, that was awesome. And anyways, so I went to Austin with just like, okay, this is the Holiday Inn that I'm staying at. I know right where it's at. I know how to get everywhere I'm going to go from there on foot. It's all within a 14 block radius, right? And So I get there, and I fly in. I get like a $20 Uber over to the hotel, and turns out I booked the wrong freaking hotel. So I was at they didn't have me, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" So I went to my stuff, and I accidentally booked the wrong Holiday Inn, so I had to get another Uber to that Holiday Inn, and now instead of being 14 blocks away, I was a mile and a half from downtown. So I wound up walking 9 miles in 2 days because I only Ubered from the airport hotel and then down to the other hotel and then back to the airport on Sunday. All the rest of it I did was walking. And oh my God, my legs hurt so bad. I mean, Tuesday, they were a little bit stiff. Sunday, they were a little bit stiff after walking all night because I was at a bar and then I made it almost all the way back to the hotel and realized I left this phone at the bar because I was the phone that I'm using for the Discord right now. It only works on Wi-Fi, and I had this phone with my hotspot on, and it was just put away so that I could use up the battery on that one. And I pulled out this phone here to text my girlfriend on Messenger, and it's like no service. I was like, no service? What the hell? I go pulling out my backpack and digging around, and my phone's not there. I gotta walk 1.1 miles all the way back to the bar. I get there, it's 1:55 a.m. They close at 2, and then they're like, "Well, it's gonna be a $5 cover," and I'm like, "I'm not paying you $5 to go in there for 5 minutes." It's like I just need my phone. And oh, okay, what's it look like? In a purple case, and they brought me my phone, and then I had to walk my happy ass all the way back. 6th Street was freaking crazy. I have never seen. Like, I thought Fremont Street in Vegas was crazy. 6th Street in Austin blows it away. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fremont Street's got all the lights and it's all covered and everything else, and it's got the zip line. That's pretty neat. But as far as the amount of people goes, oh my God, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people on 6th Street. They block it off at each end, and it's just body to body all the way down the street. It was fun.
I love
and then.
I love things like that where like they block off streets and it's just like a big party.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And of course, some of the clubs they got PA systems outside, so it's all. It was neat. I had a blast. I'm definitely gonna just like at some point in time, I'm just gonna every now and then just take a trip to Austin because it's cheap as hell. Just do what I just did. Do a Saturday or overnight, and and then bam, back out. The only thing is, okay, so I have my 30-year high school reunion this weekend. That's what I did this weekend. And so Friday night we met at a pub, and oh my goodness, I got tore up. And I mean, like I got one of my buddies. He bought me 2 beers, so he bought me 2 beers, and then my tab was 7 beers and a vodka water. And so and for the I had the vodka water first, and that's what I would have gone with, but it's city water and it tasted gross, so I was like, oh, I'm not doing this again. And anyways, yeah. So at the end of the night, we closed the bar down. At the end of the night, my tab was $30. I was like, yeah, everything, all the drinks were $3, I guess. And
I love drink deals.
I was like, wow. That's crazy. I was like, I tipped her 20 and called it a night. Because hell, I mean, in Austin, and this is how I got into that. But in Austin, I don't think I left a single bar without a tab over $100, and I was by myself. I mean, so there was that. Yeah. So that's my weekend. Had my high school reunion. We had what we did is we all just gathered up at somebody's house. They got a pool, nice yard, and all that. And we partied up. We had the Bluetooth speaker going, and everybody was taking turns putting songs in the queue, and we're telling stories from back in the day and now in the day, and talking about our kids and talking about our grandkids, and then at like 11 o'clock the cops showed up, busted our party. The neighbors called the cops on us because we were too loud and obnoxious. The cops showed up thinking it was a bunch of high school kids partying. And then it turns out,
and it was.
The cops are like the cops were younger than most of our kids.
Like technically, it was a bunch of high school kids partying.
Well, yeah, technically, yes, but I just thought it was funny. It's like I was like, yep, and it was just like back in the day too, because the cops showed up, and then everybody just scattered as soon as they were live. It was like, well, guess we better go, and and like 20 minutes after the cops were gone, everybody was loaded up and out of there.
Right.
Yeah, okay. You bringing up your high school reunion just reminds me that this year is my 20th high school. I should be. I don't know if they've organised yet, but it should be my 20th high school reunion, which is just plain fucking scary.
Man, everybody I went to high school with can rot for all I care. You couldn't pay me to go to a high school reunion.
I went. I didn't go to any of my other ones. I went to
Right.
this one because I had a mission, and I accomplished that mission. Everybody was really cool. I got no pushback, and I had a good time. And that is my fortnight. So Yamez, it's on you now.
It's all on my shoulders. They're all gonna laugh at me. No, I actually had a pretty productive fortnight, 2 weeks. Been busting rocks in the hot sun. Typically, it is fall, y'all. The temperature's cool, so I've been getting out into the yard. Been doing the Friday night fires here and there, like when the weather permits, because I mean it is rainy and windy season. I got there's for the since I moved in here, in my shop in this one spot, which is like perfect spot for storing stuff. There's been this big safe, probably about 1,000 pounds, if not more. And and I'm like, I need to get that out of here and tear it up and throw it away. I need to get that out of here. I need to get that. And everybody, Jay and Jeannie and Josh, oh, that thing, you can't move that thing. We put it in there with the Kubota, like that thing's not moving. It's too heavy. It's not moving. And I just, I'm like, screw it. Today I'm going to do it. And the other day I cleaned it off, cleaned it out, got, swept out from underneath it, greased the wheels, and then took a 2x4 as a leverage stick and just kind of stuck it under it and just half inch by half inch slid the thing over to the door, and then so that the wheels were in line, and then just got the other side and just got it going and pushed it rolling outside, and then took my oxyacetylene torch to start cutting it up. Sure, it can't move, right? In addition to that, been editing. It's like I feel really bad now because it's like we do this as a podcast, or have done this as a podcast, and Alexis was covering the editing, and I'm like, I ain't touching the editing, because it's like I know how much work it is. And Alexis was like, I'll do it for the podcast. It's like, all right. And now I'm doing this Dungeons and Dragons podcast that I'm editing, and it's like, I'm so sorry you have to put up with this, Alexis. I said, I'm so sorry you had to put up with editing our podcast. It is such a pain in the ass.
It is.
But
oh my God, it's hot.
That's what makes it worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, it's fun. I supposedly, like, I got to get with the rest of the team. Supposedly, we are releasing that, and I'd like you guys to, any of you guys who are interested, once it releases, I'll drop the links and whatnot. But like, it's supposed to come out this Wednesday. Our episode 0, which is like a recap of the first handful of sessions to bring everybody up to speed, because we didn't start recording it until we should actually record these, but yeah, it's fun. I'm having a blast with it, and we will soon be opening it up to public one shots, I think is what we're calling them, and like arena battles and stuff. We're gonna, focusing on one thing and getting it to the next step. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing this whole time is working on that, editing, recording, marketing, all that fun stuff. But John Burnett says 60-year reunion. Damn, is that a reunion at a nursing home?
Oof. That's a bit
Um,
harsh.
I'll hold them. You can punch them.
Mm.
But yeah, so not as fun of a conversation as a high school reunion getting shut down by the police for being too rowdy, But it's like that's what I've been doing. But yeah, I know that the early chat in the YouTube chat was talking about Quad State and John Burnell not having been around, and Quad State's next week, right?
Wow.
No, week after.
Week after. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not be able to be there. As you saw, Alexis will not be able to be there. Roy is not going to be there. I really hope that you guys that go have a fun time, share lots of pictures, come on the show, tell us how it went, all that fun stuff. If any of you are there on Sunday while we're live, let me see. What's that calendar? No, you wouldn't be. Yeah, you would. If y'all are still there on the 29th, and want to hop in the Discord while we're doing our show in 2 weeks, show us some video of the place and say hi. That'd be fantastic. But Eric says, so Quad State isn't happening then. No Roy, Yamez, or Sully. It says takes or Sully,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming autocorrect. I mean, it's happening. I don't know how many people are going to go. It's a tough year this year. The reason main reason I'm not going is I can't afford it. I'm basically broke right now.
Yeah,
But-
and and I fall into that same. I fall into that same boat. It's like every year I don't hardly work in September, and so I'm ready for it, right? That's why I bought my tickets back in May. I was just like, I'm gonna have this down. It'll be right, and then it's just I can't afford. I can't afford my expenses for a week while I'm there, and have the whole week not working. You know what I mean? Like I won't be able to make my financial commitments, and that
Right.
it's a whole different can of worms. Because if I'm 2 days late on my child support, my second ex-wife is gonna have call the attorney general and have that shit coming out automatic. So I gotta have it there on time every month, or it's a problem. So and I
Yeah.
don't want it to be a problem. Because I do like having because if I am going to be late or something like that, I can be like, hey, it's going to be some, 1 day late or whatever, it should be fine. But being like, oh, I'm not going to have it until next time, that's going to be a problem. So it was going to be such a financial strain for me to go that I was like, I was feeling physically ill thinking about how much shit was going to go wrong.
Yeah.
With all of the rest of the things I got going on, and it was literally making me sick thinking about having to go and like I don't know how I'm going to make this work. Like it's just. And then finally, I was sitting there and I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Is like I don't want to borrow money from anyone. I don't want to mooch off anyone. I mean, like I can handle my own shit, but I can't afford to do what I've already planned to do. And yeah, and she's like, well, then just don't go. And I was like, I can't not go.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you don't have to go. And I was like, no, well, okay, I guess you're right. I don't have to go. And so, we talked about it, and I was like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And that was that conversation that I was telling you about earlier, where Adam, where I needed her input on something, and I couldn't get a hold of her. yeah, that was the thing that had me messed up. I was like, I am like literally my stomach hurts. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, we talked it through, and then the next day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna cancel the tickets. I can't. And so I went into AA.com, canceled the trip. I got an $1,100 trip credit, and obviously I'm not gonna be able to get my flights back.
But I mean, and this is something for those of you that are going or are feeling, like yeah, Alexis was, you're a bit worried about things because look, it is tight and historically, and I said it as a little bit of a joke earlier, but when it's in it. From my outside perspective in the US, whenever it's election year, things get tight for everyone. Doesn't matter your walk of life or anything like that. When it's election year, things slow up a little bit and everything gets tight. And it is election year for you guys, and we're also, in a period of inflation and all that type of thing. So, things are tight across the board, even here in Australia. It's tight, and we're not exactly in election year here, but it looks like we don't have election cycles quite like you guys, but it looks like our election, general election here might be called in early next year, so March, April. So our politicians are starting to ramp up the rhetoric. So when it doesn't matter where you are, whenever it's election time, things get a little bit tight. But you can see it as a good thing in the sense of you can take some time off. Particularly those who've been there before, or those that are regulars, because you see each other every year. This time, you're going in, you're taking a year off. Everyone seems to be taking a year off, and that's okay because I don't. If any of you guys that have kids might experience this, but going to a theme park every year and seeing the same thing. Quad State is kind of like our theme park. If we're going there every year, it's the same thing, so it might get a little bit dull. At least by taking a year off, you get that little bit of that spark of excitement back to go. Oh, I get to see everyone again, and I get to experience different things again. So, yeah, that's my view of it.
It's every year. It's always. I mean, everybody knows it. I'm not the most well off. A lot of my money goes into covering, outstanding debt, which admittedly isn't nearly as much as several other people that live with. Of all the people I know or have heard of, I've got the lowest debt, save for those who have zero. But it's been paying off that. So I've never really. It's just this year. Usually, I scrape by and like, okay, I've got just enough to go. And that's it, this year it's I think I got like $50 in my bank account. My bills are paid, and that's about it. So it's one of those situations where it's like, it's like something's got to go. I mean, you see me smoking, it's like I switched to rolling your own. I switched from $6.50 packs of cigarettes to $1.50 a pack, because for $15 I can get a pound of tobacco that is 2 cartons worth of cigarettes. So even I'm cutting back on things that I normally wouldn't cut back on. But yeah, and as for it being an election year, yeah, you're right. Every election, 2 things happen. Number 1, everybody gets real tight with their money, and number 2, it's all you freaking hear about. Like it's all you hear about, like the junk mail, the when you're watching TV, the ads. It's like, good Lord.
Yep.
It's like going into like the Dollar General by me, the store that I go to all the time. They already got Christmas stuff out. The Halloween stuff.
Oh, that's horrible.
The Halloween stuff. It's September, and the Halloween stuff is on an end cap now. On clearance, on an end cap. It's like Halloween. It's 2 aisles of Christmas stuff and an end cap of Halloween stuff. Wait your turn, fat man.
I actually got up. We had a situation here where it was very similar though. There was a store here, and the kind of like a Dollar General. We call them dollars and cents. They're a cheap dollar store, and the staff actually near on had a walkout because the managers decided to start putting Christmas stuff out, and they were like, no, it's only September. It's spooky season. You don't get to put Christmas stuff out until spooky season ends. um, so yeah, so they're like they were just about to stage a walk off because they were trying to put Christmas stuff out in September, and it was kind of like the manager going, oh well, Halloween's technically October, and they're like, yeah, but Christmas has crept all the way to October now, so it's okay for Halloween to creep into September, but you can't start moving Christmas into September. That's not.
Oh,
that's not
my
how it goes.
gosh!
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say.
Hold on.
Yep.
It's like we rang a freaking bell. What is up, Mr. Christmas himself? You got to come down here, and you and the family have to take a weekend, come down by me, and I will take you to the Christmas store. Now, I complain about Christmas regularly this early, every year. Every year they do this to me. But even outside of Christmas, it's really cool. Like, even outside of the spooky season, heck, you go in freaking, June or March. There's a all year round Christmas store down the road. And it's a big tourist attraction, it'll be dead of summer and go in there and look at Christmas decorations and buy trees and buy Christmas stuff. And yeah, Roy, you guys need to come down and celebrate a Christmas with me outside of Christmas season, because we can go and hang out at the Christmas Mouse. Hi Roy, how you doing, buddy? I was glad to be able to hop in and say hi during your stream last night, or Friday night. Wish I could have stayed longer. Hold on. I got a sneeze coming.
No, Roy, no, you can't. Wrong time of year. Happy Halloween. Halloween hasn't even hit yet. All right, you can't start saying that. Right,
We're not even in the month for Halloween yet.
1st of November, you can start saying that, okay? Like, just give us this time. It's the only time you get the rest of the year. Give us this time of year for spooky season.
Wait your turn, fat man. Oh, we love you, Roy. Where is it at? Did I get rid of it?
Probably did.
Hold on. I've got my Halloween images.
Stephen Parsons agrees with me.
No, I don't have them up anymore.
I think he's talking about. I think he's talking about Santa. So yeah. But yes, no. But Jack says, yeah, the only folks who'll be thinking about Christmas is us and other makers who will be doing Christmas gifts.
Yeah,
that's true to a degree. Yes, that's true to a degree. I don't think it's necessarily we're working on projects as opposed to thinking about Christmas.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
that's a very good point. When you're an artist or when you're in the maker space, you have to be like, even as a business, Jay, for our electrical company has already started working on Christmas cards and compiling his lists and printing out envelopes and all that stuff. So yeah, it's I get it, but it's always a sad moment when you grew up where Halloween was your Christmas, and then it's pushed back and forgotten like a Christmas tree in March.
What are you talking about? Roy's Christmas trees up year round.
Yeah. If we get fake trees, we never have to take them down.
Yep. Yeah, like Roy just said, it's in his heart year round. That's fine. It could be in your heart year round, but at most, us Halloween enthusiasts, we only get two months at most. You can have Christmas and all that type of thing, for 10 months of the year. Let us have this too.
Oh, start advertising it in like June, July, and then end of August, stop, pause for 2 months, and then start again. Like Billy Idol says, start again.
Yes, but that's because you don't celebrate Christmas as much as you celebrate Krampus there, Rob.
No,
and look, if you're a business, like Jeff said, he just did do craft shows this weekend, and people were buying for Christmas. It's a great time to sell gifts, because the smart and the thrifty will be out there buying gifts and starting to prepare for Christmas. But this time of year, there definitely is, as a business, a certain lull when it comes to people either there's two modes. People either buy early or they buy last minute. So you'll get the occasional Christmas buyer this time of year. Okay, that's fine. But particularly using this time to get your stock levels, particularly for your main sellers, up ish, is a good idea. Because of that lull. Buying your Christmas tree blanks and all that type of thing off Roy at this time of year is a great idea, because that way you can start making your hooks and have them all ready for November 1st, ready to have your Christmas sales.
well, yeah, it's also like, and Roy can attest to this. He's like, yeah, I have 7 months of winter. Roy can attest to this. It's like when you're trying to advertise to sell something seasonally related, the longer you have to advertise something, the more you can sell, and it's like Roy doing his blanks, or his Christmas items, or the various Christmas related things. It's like, yeah, you're marketing also to people who need to make those gifts to sell, like the blanks. So you want to market to them before, like, they're not looking to buy a gift the last minute. They're looking to buy things to make gifts for people to buy at the last minute. So got to start that marketing that little bit earlier. I get it.
And don't forget, particularly for Christmas and stuff like that, don't forget other things that are Christmas adjacent, like your wreath hangers, and your stocking hangers and all that type of thing. Because those, whilst they're not specifically Christmas related, you've got those. People will be buying them to hang their Christmas stockings, to hang their Christmas wreath, all that type of thing. And of course you can always say, hey, this is great for Christmas time and hanging a Christmas wreath, but then you can also hang, a welcome sign on your front door from it during the rest of the year or something like that, So just as an aside, because I too have been looking into Christmas wreaths. Aren't exactly a major thing where I am because it's tropical, but some people do them, and how can I justify them buying this particular item, which isn't essential from me?
Right.
So yeah, but yes, so and all and further to that, going back to Quad State, it's. And again, everything being tight, if and it's also something, particularly with the projects I've got going on, and with making stock that I've had to start doing. It's a really good time to and Roy kind of touched on it in his live stream yesterday in working
Friday.
doing something particularly Friday. So doing particularly in doing for me it was yesterday in doing something, did your basic skills and making them repeatable. When you're making stock, that's a really, really good chance to work on those basic skills and the repeatability and getting things, whilst of course everything's hand forged and there are going to be slight differences, working on that consistency in forging, and looking for the fun in it, knowing that you can potentially make some money off it. So, or if you're a hobby smith, just making that gift for the family or whatnot, and getting that repeatability in and working on those basic skills. Now,
Roy needs to pop in. Sorry to interrupt. Roy, you need to pop in. You're spitting fire there in the chat. I miss when I was a kid and everything seemed to have a time and season. As we proceed forward through time, they are trying to push seasons too much. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and I kind of like, I wouldn't say Roy and I had a difference of opinion in his live stream. He said, the 7 basic skills, and I kind of expanded them to 15 odd. And it's because there are 7 basic skills that I stretched. I broke down further to 15. I don't know if Roy actually saw my comment about that, but it's there are those 7. The skills that, for example, bending. For me, I break bending down into bending and turning, because bending's in one direction and turning's in a different direction. So like those are one skill, but two forms of those skills. So there are some skills that I kind of break down a little bit further. But again, going back to what I was saying before, using that, making stock for your Christmas sales is a great opportunity to work on, honing in your basic skills and getting that repeatability. So yeah.
Well, of course, Roy says thank you everyone for the kind welcome. Of course, Roy, we accept all newcomers and newbies here. There's a great channel if you want to learn how to forge. It's Christ-centered Ironworks. I was gonna say Black Bear Forge, but he's also good.
Yeah. Rob said there's a weekly Blacksmith challenge on Facebook. I picked a 4-element Forge World for this past week. You would have thought I asked them for the Golden Break Bridge. That's because whilst Forge Welding is fundamental, a lot of people don't spend the required time to learn their forge to do it. And I speak from the experience of now having worked in coal, working in charcoal, having worked in gas. So I've used the 3 basic fuels, and forge welding, and I've also worked in several different forges, and forge welding across different forges is extremely different. Extremely different. I had the first time I tried to forge weld in the coal forge that my young friend Jake has. I absolutely flubbed it, and it looked horrible. Whereas I don't find forge welding in charcoal all that challenging. It has its own little challenges, and then you've got to factor in your different colors and the different light levels and all that type of thing. There is a basic skill to it, but but a lot of people, I find a lot of people don't spend the time practicing that fundamental skill of forge welding, and I need to get back out and do it again and do it more, because I reckon I've kind of probably lost my touch for a little bit. And luckily, with some of these projects that I've got coming up, I do have to do a fair decent amount of forge welding. But like for someone, for example, Roy, does, and Rob, you guys Forge World on I wouldn't say regular, but at least a semi-regular basis. But you've got that good from Forge Welding, from doing the Forge Welding. And so people who find it too challenging to practice you never get good at something you don't do. So, yeah, I 100% agree, challenge yourself and do something, pick up those fundamentals.
Speaking of Forge Welding, I've been browsing a lot of Reddit lately. Sorry. But yeah, it's came across a blacksmith post about forge welding. The guy was struggling with forge welding, and everybody was saying it's like, oh well, your problem is your anvil's too cold. Your problem is you need to preheat. It's not going to work unless you preheat your anvil, and this and that, and it's like, I'm talking. There was one person out of probably 50 people who said, you don't have to preheat your anvil. And everybody jumped on him and said, no, yeah, you do. Oh, yeah. I slung out so many links of Roy's the ice anvil basket hook video. And said, and a lot of people were like, well, no, he's forging on a piece of metal that's on the anvil. He probably preheated that. It's like, yes.
The logic in that doesn't logic.
It was hilarious. Oh yeah. And as for Flux, everybody knows what you do is you take and you make a slurry out of water and flux, borax and whatnot. And then you just swirl it around in there and then start beating on it.
Yep.
No, you swirl it around in there, heat it up.
And it's got to be CCI brand Flux too.
Yeah. Crushed up Christmas ornaments and pine needles.
It's got to be. The best Flux out there is CCI brand Flux.
Preheat your hammer too. For everybody who sees a post about somebody saying you got to preheat your anvil, you got to respond to them. You're like, no, you leave the anvil cold and you preheat your hammer. That's what you do, and then see how many people we can spread that BS to.
You got to leave it right beside your fire, right next where the not in the fire, but right beside the fire where the actual piece is heating up for forge welding. So your hammer.
I guarantee, if we were to start that, or if we get everybody in here to start that, in a year, it's gonna be the thing to do. You're gonna see YouTube videos on how to preheat your hammer. You're gonna see questions. How hot should I get my hammer? Oh man.
You also got to remember, by preheating your hammer, right, that saves it from cracks in winter too. Also saves it from shattering when you're using struck tools.
Yeah, it does actually. Those are not wrong.
Yep.
You are not wrong.
Yeah, just a caveat, because I do know there is a potential that we may get some, because I as people know, I watch a lot of historical podcasts and YouTube videos, and so a couple of weeks ago I actually commented on a archaeological video from Mini Minuteman, and they were talking and we tried to get Mini Minuteman on the podcast when we were covering ancient Egypt, and unfortunately he was too busy. We weren't able to nail anything down. And I think he was doing an archaeological tour in Göbekli Tepe at the time. But anyway, but I commented on one of his vids, and I got a whole heap of likes and a whole heap of, and at least one person asking me, because we covered ancient Egypt and the metallurgy of ancient Egypt and everything like that, back when we covered back last year, I think it was, started last year. And so they asked what podcast it was. I said, we're Blacksmith. We cover this type of thing on our podcast. Just the ridiculousness of because Minuteman debunks a lot of pseudo archaeology, and so yeah, we got a lot of people asking about the podcast. So, just in case and just a caveat, what we were saying about preheating your hammer, that is a joke. It is tongue-in-cheek. It's not something that we actually recommend people do.
Wait a minute. What's this Wish? You got a
All
mouse
right.
in your pocket?
I don't recommend.
I am totally going
I
to go
do.
out there and set all my hammers right next to the fire.
Yeah. I'm going whenever I see a comment about preheating your anvil. I'm 100% going to link Roy's video and go. You don't need to preheat your anvil. You need to preheat your hammer. I'm definitely going to flip that on people's on people 100%. But I just wanted to say
Preheat,
for those people listening to the podcast, preheat your hammer.
For the people who comment that you have to preheat your anvil. Here's what you do: you put a YouTube link to Roy's video where he and say, no, you leave your anvil alone, you preheat your hammer. Here's a video explaining why, and it tricks them into, instead of, why would you go to a video that debunks what your core belief of how it works is? That's not how people work. They want to prove you wrong, so you give them such a ridiculous claim like that. Here's video proof. They will watch the video waiting for Roy to explain why preheating your hammer is the way to go, and then they'll learn something about preheating your anvil.
Yep.
Bait and switch. Bait and switch. Kind of like if you find me on Tinder. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You'll never find me.
Hey, Jeff, if you go into the hammer handle business, right, particularly with preheating hammers, it'll be a great thing. It looks like we might have lost Alexis for a little while, but that's.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay,
I preheat my forge before I light it. I'll take a torch and I'll heat the metal and heat everything up, and then I'll light. I can't even.
Yeah, no, well, see, technically, I also preheat my forge in the sense of, particularly when I'm using a gas forge, I'll light it and let it preheat before I actually start using it. So, I kind of technically preheat my forge. But that's the gas forge, not my solid fuel forges. But yeah, I'm 100% on board that we need to troll people, and it's preheat your hammer, not preheat your forge, and preheat your anvil.
Roy, I say we make a spoof video.
What about you, Alexis? Are you in?
What?
Are you in with us in the whole preheat your hammer thing?
Yeah,
let's
sure.
Change the narrative.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm like complete. I'm like.
Are you the reason John Brunel hasn't spoken in a moment?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hi, John.
Because I'm like totally rebooking flights.
Oh.
Okay.
For instead of being the whole week, just a couple days. You know what I mean? And if John's going to give me a ride and drop me off, if he's going to pick me up and drop me off, that solves my being stuck at the airport or having to get an Uber problem. And I'm just like, shit, what do I do here? Hold on, home.
Oh, do your thing.
John, you're an absolute sweetie.
What's that?
John's
you do your thing, Alexis, and we're just complimenting John on being a sweetheart.
Rob goes, but then you'll be stuck with John. Eric had to preheat his anvil the other day.
Got it.
Because someone really abused it years ago before you got it and destroyed about an inch of the edges.
Yeah, but that's anvil restoration as opposed to preheating the anvil for some BS reason, like attempting a forge weld, or even forging on it, So yeah, that's kind of a different thing. Yeah, that's understandable. Like there are certain reasons why you would preheat the anvil, like restoration or repair. But yeah, the whole as Roy has unequivocally proven and debunked, preheating to Forge World is an absolute load, and a smelly load at that. So yeah, no, I'm 100% on board on trolling the gatekeepers, and look, let's face it, that's where a lot of it come from. I'm 100% for trolling the gatekeepers on it's not preheating the particularly if we can get Roy on board, and Roy does do a spoof video about it, right? He's the most hated blacksmith, so if we get him on board and does a spoof video about preheating your hammer, not your anvil, and if you splice in some of them, if it's completely tongue in cheek and you do some preheating of the hammer, and then you splice in some of those ice anvil video, right? So it looks like you're coming straight from preheating your hammer to forge welding. That would kind of prove that would just
you can using the footage from the ice anvil video. I already know how. Okay, so and for a completely now let's take it to the extreme. Take and forge a hammer billet that is similar to your hammer. Okay, get it in the anvil, get it nice and glowing. Or I don't know, weld a handle on it, with a coil or whatever. But basically, stick the hammerhead and get it nice and hot, and then take it to the anvil and start forge welding. You could have so much fun with that, Roy.
Do I have the wrong card on file?
It's a good social experiment too, to see just how, I wouldn't say gullible, but how misinformation is so easy to spread, So yeah, I reckon that would absolutely hilarious.
I would giggle a lot, and that would be a million billion view video. They'd talk about that in the news.
It's in my freaking pocket.
Yep. Particularly in the shorts function, Yeah.
Do it, Roy. It's and you can even be like, if you get backlash, be like, it wasn't my ideas. It was brought up by the Impractical Blacksmiths. I'll take that trade.
Yep. You can blame us.
Yeah. It would be a fun video. It does. You don't even have to do it soon. Have it, get it ready, but April 1st. No, because the part of the experiment would be to see how many people can believe it, and then you could do a follow-up video a month later. Be like, "Yo, y'all stop with this. This was a spoof video. It doesn't actually work." Because you're gonna have a bunch of people try it.
Yeah, I actually think putting it out on April 1st would be a really good idea.
I think it'd be giving away the joke.
Yeah, but not really, because enough people think you got to preheat your anvil anyway. So, yeah, and the ice anvil video is long enough ago that it's kind of and that's associated with April. So there's that Roy doing another ice anvil video and all that type of thing. So it gives it a bit of plausibility.
Yeah.
And that's the best type of practical joke, isn't it? The plausibility.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Trail Dust. I do have curly hair. It's the reason why I've had a haircut, because I'm starting to look like Krusty the Clown. I mean, Sideshow Bob. So yeah,
y'all don't want to see my hair. Of whack. There's a reason I wear my hat.
Yamez is due for a shave.
Oh my god, I know.
But yeah. Yeah, put it out during winter when yeah. Exactly, It's
well, I mean, you can put it out. You can put it out April 1st and be like, "Well, I just got through the winter, and throughout the winter, I took this footage, and I figured I'd make a video on it, and, blah blah blah. Like, I normally don't show this because it's boring. It's a boring normal part of being a blacksmith. Total serious. Be like, this is the part that nobody shows you because it's just such common knowledge. You got to preheat your hammer, and you take it out, and you have some clips of you hitting with a glowing red hammer, and then intersperse, be like, yeah, and this it makes this really clean forge weld when you do that. Blah blah.
And again, for the podcasters listening later on that might not have a background in blacksmithing.
All right.
Alexis has something to share.
Yep. All right. I am going to Quad State. I'm flying in Thursday night at 8 o'clock ish and flying out Sunday morning.
Yay!
So John said he could
Nice.
pick me up and drop me off. So I'm not going to be stuck anywhere. And
So what time
I
Sunday
don't-
morning do you fly out?
well, he's just going to drop me off on his way out, I guess. I have my flight is at like 6 p.m. So I got to be out of there by 4 p.m. or I got to be there by 4 p.m. John usually leaves around noonish or right before. So I mean, it's entirely. I mean, I could totally just go hang out at the airport for a couple hours waiting on my flight.
Yep. I was just. Oh no. The reason why I asked is because that means we will have a live reporter from Quad State this year. We'll get you.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Hang on.
I'll be doing the show. I'll be doing the next show from Quad State. So
Yep.
Hold on. John Brunell just said poor Thomas will be stuck outside with one of them snow block molds, which got me thinking, and this is now going to be a legitimate question, not a joke question, but on a jokey topic. Okay, and this is an answer for all of you, but I'd really like to hear Roy weigh in. If you were to take a ice block and carve it into the shape of an anvil, okay, versus a mold where you pour water in and let it, harden up into ice, would that be forged versus cast anvil? Come on. What are your thoughts? I know we're at the very end of the show, but got to give the gold at the end.
But
So-
on that note, you got to remember, if you're going to make an ice anvil, make it with boiling water. It freezes faster and freezes clear.
I'm busted. I'm busted. Yeah. Yeah, John. Yeah.
Forged ice versus cast ice.
Right? This is making
Hey,
ice cubes casting ice?
Wait. But that also brings you on to another version, right? As in, your anvil destruction videos and all that type of thing. Forged of a carved ice anvil versus a cast ice anvil.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. Oh my Roy, we're like
better?
filling your iced anvil playlist for you. Okay, these ideas are gold. These ideas are just pure gold. Let's roll with it. Audio cut off?
Mine or
Test?
hang on.
No, I got you guys going out. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it. So so if it was my audio cut off, have it as an anvil off between a carved ice anvil and a cast ice anvil. Which one performs better as as an anvil? And then do the destruction test. Which one survives more punishment from Thomas and.
You could even do it a video like a la Hacksmith or something where you do you get a carved or you make a carved anvil, a forged ice anvil, and Thomas has to make a cast ice anvil, and then you guys compete on them and then destroy each other's anvils. See which one breaks, see which one works better. Oh, this is
and then
and a rebound
Jack
test.
the rebound.
Roy. Oh yeah. Let's do this.
We only need 2% of the royalties, okay? So yeah, so that's. I reckon that's a good idea, and of course, that's all in line with the preheating. It culminates with the preheating of the hammer.
I like where Trail Dust is going with this. An anvil with a built-in forge.
Yep. like your anvil vices. But have
Yeah,
it with
like
a built-in forge. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. See, the anvil would
Yeah.
have, spots on the side for like supports to slip into, so that the forge table is right next to the anvil face, and then you pull. You have your piece. Boom, 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 boom. Oops.
See?
I love it.
And my actual thought with that was you had like a gas forge that runs the length of the body, and you pull pull it out of the gas forge and put it straight on top, and that's where your your anvil
And
is.
it preheats the anvil automatically.
Exactly.
It's the perfect invention.
Oh my golly. Anyway,
That's funny.
so a change in news. Breaking news: Alexis is now going to Quad State.
This just in.
Amazing how that can change in an hour.
Right? Now you got to let everybody know that, you said that, oh, yeah, I'm not going to Quad State. I'll come here instead.
Well, I'm still going to go there.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's the end of November. So I mean, like,
an international flight to Trinidad. You know what?
We'll have.
It was just okay. So the biggest thing is, I didn't want to be off that late. I also don't, I don't have a lot of money left, and it was just the logistics of it. I mean, like, the whole idea of me flying in on Tuesday, there ain't nobody else there, and it's like, now that I've got it rounded out, I'm only going to be gone from home for 4 days, which is doable. It's only 4 days out of a paycheck, and then John's going to pick me up and drop me off, so the logistics are covered. So now I'm not freaking out about it. So
there you go. Yeah, and that's, what, I'm sure if you'd have gone to John first, he'd have said, yeah. But I get your whole point before of, like, you don't want to call people up and inconvenience them. Let them offer.
There's no way I can ask anybody, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? I mean, I can't do that.
No, that's a favor like that. Something that has to be offered.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if I knew somebody was going to be there, I wouldn't be like, hey, do you mind? Can you come pick me up at the airport at such place and time? As like, no. I mean, like, somebody's got to offer to do that. I can't ask. I mean, I would rather pay $100 for an Uber than to call someone and ask them to come get me at the airport.
Yeah. Well, I also got food covered.
It's stupid. It's stupid, but that's just the way my brain works.
Yep. You can, Rob's inviting you to eat the Brazil nuts.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And just to let you guys know, the year that I come over to go to Quad State, these two attending is not in question.
No, sure.
Even if it's a matter of me coming and kidnap them on my around Australia or around the US trip, and just going, all right, pack your things, jump in the van, and we're going. Because of course I'm going to be spending the money and traveling anyway, and we all know Yarmez doesn't like to drive in the mountains, so it's likely that he's going to be with me anyway.
Yeah, and then fly back here.
Yeah,
or you drive me back. Well, you'd be going the other way.
Yeah, I'll be going the other way. But so even if Alexis ends up flying to in the year that I come, if she ends up flying to Ohio, I'll drive her home because I'm going that way anyway. So but yeah, so it's the year that I end up coming over, it's still a toss up at the moment as to whether that's next year or the year after. I am aiming for sooner rather than later. But of course, as many of you are aware, international travel is not cheap. So it's a matter of getting the money together. Having to buy this tractor this year set the finances back a little bit because that was a lot of money that I had to unfortunately outlay. But it's worth it and gets me steps closer to doing other things. But yeah, so like I said, the year I come over, it will definitely be a big year. And Yammers and Alexis, and even if I have to go and kidnap Roy and Jess,
You're gonna be packed
I
to the
will
gills in
find
that
them.
van.
Exactly. That's fine. So yeah, yeah. But I reckon it's about time to call it a show.
Yeah, I was gonna call the show, but then never mind. All right.
Alrighty.
I was
So
going to go to Quad State, and then I got high.
Final thoughts.
final thoughts. Alexis, you want to start?
I'm going to Quad
Yeah,
State,
sure.
bitches. Oh,
Final thoughts. I'm going to Quad State, bitches. Woo!
there you go.
I'm. I don't know. I'm still a little bit nervous about it. There are some logistical things that I still have a problem with, but I'll figure them out on the fly.
It's less to figure out on
I'm
the
not
fly.
really- It's less to figure out on the fly than it was. I'm not going to get into that logistical problem on a live stream, but so I'm going. That's going to be cool. It's not going to be as long as I'm used to going for, because I'm used to going for like 10 freaking days, and not to Quad State, but the whole trip is usually like 10 days. And this year it was going to be 7, and 7 that's a freaking stretch, And so now it's 4, and I can do 4. I can deal with 4 days. And yeah, I want to say thanks to John Burnell for offering to pick me up and drop me off, and Rob for offering me to hang out at the Brazil Nut Camp or eat there, or I don't know, whatever. I mean, play around. I got nothing this year but time, and I'm staying at the fairgrounds. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be cool. I'm excited.
Tell everybody I said hi.
I'm still nervous a little bit, but we're good. And guys, I mean, gosh, I honestly, I should have waited to cancel my tickets or change my trip until today. But Friday, I was just like, I got to do this, and I did it. And yeah, in hindsight, I should have waited a couple days, and then I could have just changed my dates instead of having to rebuy the tickets and rebook new flights. And it wound up costing me an extra $103 because both of my trip credits didn't quite cover what was left or what this new ticket cost. So it cost me an extra $100 now. But I did check my bank, and I was like, okay, I can do that, no biggie. So yeah, I will see you guys. For several of you, I will see you in 2 weeks, not just see you on here. So
yay!
Yeah.
So that covers our show for 2 weeks' time. We're gonna have a Quad State special. So yeah, my final thoughts are: don't forget, it is a challenging time of year. Hopefully it's cooling off for you guys out there, so you get the opportunity to get out. For those of you where it's been exceptionally hot, to get out, chance to get out and do some actual work in the forge, yummies.
Yeah.
But and make something. Practice those basic skills. Even if it's as simple as just working on tapers or working on scrolling or something like that. Work on those basic skills. Get something going, and don't forget to forge to have fun. If something's frustrating you, stop and do something fun. That's what I mean. For most of us, this is a hobby, and the hobby is supposed to be about having fun. So have fun with it. And even if it looks like absolute junk, it's okay. You're still having fun. And that's it for me. Have a great one, and I will speak to you all in 2 weeks.
Yeah. He said 2 weeks, not fortnight.
I'll see you all in the fortnight. How's that?
All right. You stole my line. Hi, Clara. Yeah, so as usual, massive thank you to all of y'all for coming in and hanging out and chit-chatting with us. I felt we had some fun discussions today, and it's always fun when you can chat and people actually pay attention. Big thanks to Roy for popping in and teasing us about Christmas and giving us a whole anvil topic to talk about. on this blacksmithing podcast. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful day. We will see you in a fortnight, and we will have one of our hosts live at Quad State. Well, it will be midday Sunday, which is when they're closing up, but still, you know.
Well, no, shit, I don't know. Because I might already be headed
On
to
the
the
road.
airport then.
Yeah, you might not be, so we might not have somebody live on.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Work it out. We'll at least have a recap.
Yep.
From someone that was there.
We could talk about something that could potentially allow us, like, if we're able to do our Sunday show on Saturday, but it depends on. Yeah, might could do it a day early. What do y'all think? Anyway, that's a behind the scenes
I work for Adam.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm
that's
off that.
right.
I'm on changeover that weekend anyway, so it's fine by me.
Oh, yeah,
Well, we'll
I'm
talk
good
about
with
it. Maybe we'll do a
Okay.
show like that. All right. With that, guys.
No,
Adios.
anyway.
Happy Halloween. Full stop. I ain't saying Merry Christmas.
You did it anyway.